let's pick up where we left off the last time. I'm going to finish the teardown on this, get this armor off. We're going to get this circuit board out, get this this piece here all stripped down so we can figure out how we're going to do that. So what we have to do is we're going to pull this little ribbon cable off. Let's see if I can zoom you in here. Okay, a little more. There we go. So we got the ribbon cable there, and we've got that one screw. It looks like there's actually a screw missing. So we'll figure that out later. But to get the ribbon cable off, just gotta reach in here and pull it straight out, like so. And use our screwdriver. Get the circuit board out. So, alright, peel the circuit board ribbon cable back, and our circuit board should come out, and you can see that there's a pass-through that's siliconed in there. And we got our cables that come out, and they go to the back side of our circuit board here. And you can see they're all solder connections. So we're going to have to go over to the solder bench and take those off. But before we do that, I'm going to get this this armor disconnected. On the other end here, we have a clamp here. There we go. Got the two screws we got to take off there. And the reason why we have to pull this armor off of the cable is because we have to figure out how we're going to fix that broken fitting on the other end. Get that off. And basically, this right here should unscrew. That should come straight apart like that. This end right here has a stress relief. It basically threads on there. And the whole thing will just pull straight off. You can see our solder connections into there with a piece of heat shrink tubing. Then the armor is cut right there. And our anti-strain. So this will all just slide right off the cable and allow us to pull this all the way off once we get our solder connections done. So I'm going to pause it, reposition the camera over on the solder bench, and we're going to disconnect this circuit board right here. Alright, so I'll see you over there. Alright, so we're going to get our soldering station turned on. to about 600 degrees. Get that starting to warm up. Water turned on. Good. Okay, so I've got you set up here on the bench. Soldering iron's all warmed up, ready to go. And what I like to do, I'm going to zoom you in again. And get a better idea what we're doing here. Okay, so we've got 5 points here. What we have to do is loosen the solder up. And pull the wires off. Now, the older solder gets, it builds an oxide layer onto it. So if you just put a soldering iron onto it, all you're going to do is overheat the board, which you don't want to do. So you refresh the solder by adding a little more solder to it. Like that. And that breaks down the oxide layer and gets heat transfer to the metal. And then once that's on, just touch it and it comes right off. Like so. So the first 3 are off, out of the way, and we refresh the solder on the last 2 joints. Like so. Just like that. And there's our circuit board, completely free. Now, to clean the solder off the pads in preparation for new solder, once again we refresh. On and off real quick. And then you wipe it using the soldering iron. Nice clean tip. And it takes our pads off nice and clean. So there's our 5 points. Okay. Put that one up. And come back over to this piece right here. And now that that's all free, we just have to get our wires out. We still have the packing nut that's inside of there, so you can see that it's still really tight. Let's see down inside there. So what we have to do is we have to find a way to get that packing nut loosened up and out, so we can pull our wires completely off. Okay, so I'm going to reposition you. So my plan here to try to get this nut out is I'm going to try to put a couple of notches on either side and see if I can grab it with a spring tool. See if I can get it to twist out. I don't know if it's glued in or not, but there's a ground on the inside of the cable that actually is gripping on the inside, so I can't just pull it out. And I could just cut the wire and shorten it a little bit, but that'll be the last ditch effort. We're going to see if we can get this nut out without damaging the cable any more than we already are. So what I've got is I've got a little Dremel rotary tool here, and it's got a like a 1/16 inch carbide burr or end mill on there, and we're going to see if we can get in there and just cut small notches on both sides and see if we can twist that nut out, depending on how much tension was put onto it when it was installed. So we're gonna give this a shot. That's one side. Let's see if we can hit the other side over here. One side. Alright, see if we can do it with that. This don't look too bad. As long as we can grab a hold of them. See if we can twist it out of there some. Alright. Okay, so here's our piece we're working on. And this right here is the tool that I'm going to use. It's an inside-outside, I call it an old Jesus pliers. And it's reversible for inside or outside snap rings, basically. So these little teeth right here should be able to fit into our holes. And with any luck, we should be able to twist that nut out of there. Well, we got some motion out of it, about 90 degrees, and then it stopped on me. So let me see if I can just keep working on this, and I'll come back to you when I get it out. Okay, so I got it out most of the way. I'll go ahead and take it out the rest of the way on camera. You can see the notches that were put in there. Let's grab our tool here. It's bound up on that cable pretty good, so actually the cable wants to turn. But the idea is to get it out without damaging the cable any more than it already is. Almost there. And you can see how the ground is actually bent back onto itself, and there's a tapered hole in there that it actually binds itself on to ground the entire chassis. Interesting. Okay, well, looks like that's free. Now we got to figure out how to replace that nut. These are our notches we cut. Kind of nick those threads on the inside a little bit, but that's not going to matter much once we get the new nut back in. Looks like there's some sleeving material inside there too. Alright, so done with that phase. Okay, so I was able to get the wires pushed back through and got that broken lug off. Focus. So here's that broken lug, and it's obviously a metric thread, but it's got a thin piece right here that actually matches up with the taper on the inside, and it crimps down really hard on the cable, which is kind of an anti-strain, so it just can't pull itself out. And then the other end that it broke off of here is glued in. And once you get the glue broken free, this whole part right here threads into the armor. You can see the threading on it. Very thin, chrome-plated brass, and it's metric, of course. So we're going to have to find some way to fabricate another one, so we can get that strain relief put back into the armor of the cable. Alright. So, another step done as far as disassembly goes. All we got left to do to complete full disassembly is to get that ribbon cable out. I don't want to get that out before the next step so we don't take a chance on damaging it. And it's glued in there pretty good. And because the ends of it snapped off on the circuit board We've got plenty of cable here to actually pull it back out and re-glow it once we reattach it. So we can strip this back. Strip it back so we can resolder it back on again. And we gotta figure how we're gonna straighten or fix or MacGyver something up on that. So there we go.